Hey, what's up guys? Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Meert, CEO of AdvertiseMint. We go live twice a week, every Tuesday and every Friday to answer your questions about Facebook advertising and what's going on in the world, Snapchat advertising, any questions you may have, recent updates, things that are happening in the industry. So if you have any questions in relation to Facebook advertising, just drop them in the comments below. And I'll try to answer them as we're going through. We have a couple questions today that came from previous ones, and I just want to make sure we can answer those and get them in. So dropping your questions in early. If you know of anyone who is advertising on Facebook or looking to get advice or tips, maybe share this live stream with them so that they have the ability to come check it out as well to make sure that they are on top of what's happening and can get tips to be able to move forward, make more money, get a raise from their boss. It kind of goes and goes and goes from there, and it all starts right here. So we have a couple updates today, things that have happened in the world of Facebook and Snapchat. And the first one is that Snapchat recently, I guess one of the problems that people have with Snapchat is that they have to repurpose their videos. So a lot of small businesses, they're able to take their videos, which generally are filmed in a widescreen format, and they're able to upload them right to Facebook, which also kind of run on Instagram. And it's very easy for them to take their creative and try to, switch it over to this new platform. If they've traditionally been running video ads or maybe TV commercials. And so what happens is with Snapchat or with Instagram stories, you have to create your videos in a vertical format, which takes a little bit more time. It's a little tricky sometimes. So I think that's kind of a roadblock for a lot of small businesses who are looking to advertise on these platforms. Snapchat has recently started to offer credits to advertisers to be able to pay for their videos to get changed into a vertical format. Now, this was first reported by, I think, Business Insider, and that they were saying that they were reimbursing up to $1,500, but it was about 1% of your total ad spend, up to $1,500, and that was kind of the limit if you were at a $40,000 ad spend a month with Snapchat. So know that that's out there, and that's an option if you guys are looking to be able, if that's been one of the things that's been hindering you from moving forward with Snapchat, you have the ability to get an ad credit back from Snapchat to be able to turn your videos into vertical format. Another good idea is if you're running into problems to just hire an amazing agency and they'll do all the work for you. So that's an option as well. So both of those are out there. It's great to know, Snapchat's trying to be very aggressive when it comes back to the ad platforms and what's going on. They're going head to head. They've had a couple of quarters where the revenue wasn't quite as high as they wanted to be. They kind of took a hit in the stock market. But from our end, they have taken, massive steps to really fight to get that digital audience and to make it much easier for more people to be able to advertise on the Snapchat platform. This is kind of one of the first steps in doing that. They're owning up and saying, hey, we understand it takes longer to create vertical ads. We want to allow you, we're going to give you some incentives if you go and get that done. So that's great. Another update we had was, a couple of tips. A lot of times people come, on the TV theme. A lot of times people have creative that they've already done in the past or potential commercials or TV ads, and they're wanting to know, how do I be able to start running those on Facebook? Now, it's got to be 100% clear that TV and cable advertising is extremely different from Facebook. You kind of have these big pools of people that you're going after, or you're going after a massive demographic or a major market that you're trying to get your message across. When it comes to Facebook, you have all these micro segments that you have the ability to go after. So what happens is, that's kind of been the differentiating point, where a lot of times people, they don't necessarily see, the results are different from the fact that they're just two different platforms. One is kind of more of a shotgun, one's more like a sniper rifle. We're able to go after specific targets and audiences and key demos that you're trying to reach. So what happens is, just taking a general ad and using it for all those smaller ones doesn't necessarily always translate into, instant success. So what Facebook has is there's a couple of tips that I want to give you guys. If you're taking your TV commercials or videos that you've created in the past and you're trying to move them over to Facebook. So I'm going to give you 5 tips on what you can do to help get the most out of your previous video content on these new platforms. So the first one is to shorten your ads to around 10 seconds. Attention spans on social are extremely short. If you ever watch over someone else's shoulder as they're going through Facebook newsfeed or an Instagram, and I wouldn't do it without them knowing, ask them, don't be creepy. But ask them like, hey, I just saw you going through that, and watch what happens. Especially the younger demos, you will see thumbs that look like hummingbird wings. Like you can't really see them; they just kind of zzz, really quick back and forth. And what happens is that's because attention spans are short. People are moving through a large amount of content very, very quickly. What that means is, at one time you created 30-second ads, which was the standard for TV. When it comes to Facebook, man, 10 seconds is almost a little bit too long sometimes. So you're going to need to shorten it down. If you're going to start with something, it should be, get it to a 10-second format, and, get it to that. That's going to be much more consumable in a social media platform, right? People are able to consume what the information is, understand what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to do, what the value is to them, and that'll happen in a shorter period of time. If you put up a 2-minute video, it's most likely that people aren't going to watch the entire thing, and when they see it's 2 minutes long, they're going to leave anyway. So, by the time they're making that decision, should I watch this or should I not, they're already at the end of it, which is, what you're trying to do. So keep it under 10 seconds. Number 2, you need to brand at the home screen. So what happens is, no matter what, as people are scrolling up, they may be deciding, I want to watch this video, I may not. Regardless of that, you want to keep your brand at the beginning of every video. This is going to ensure that you're getting that branding in front of those people who are seeing your videos possibly again and again and again. You want to make sure that they understand your name, and they're able to see, oh, there's that company again, and make that sort of association in their mind with your company. The third tip that I have is communicate your message directly from the start. This is so key and very important. In addition to your branding, you want to be able to tell people exactly what they're going to see in the video, or what the video is about. Either using titles to be like, this is a video that's talking about this specific topic, or to be able, a lot of times, studios do this a lot with their movie trailers. They'll cut them up to where the first 3 to 4 seconds is rapid cuts of what's in the movie. So a user can be able to look and see that, and it's almost like a Cliff Notes version of what's in a trailer, which is generally 2 to 3 minutes long. So those are, again, something that you want to do is make sure that you are letting the consumer know, or the person who's on the other end of your ad, know what is in the ad very quickly and what value it would have to them. The fourth tip I would give you is, when you're translating your videos over, you want to make sure that they're crafted for the audio being off. So by default, all your videos are going to have the sound off, and they're playing on Facebook. What this means is you may have a beautiful, commercial with amazing music that you had an amazing composer and voiceovers, but no one's going to see that. So, turn the audio off on your video and watch it. And if people can't understand what's happening in the first couple of seconds, you're going to lose them. Some of the tips that you can do is to add captions. Facebook has a tool that allows you to do that automatically, or go ahead and do it manually with a video editor or someone that's overseeing your videos to make sure that those are right. But that's the fourth tip I give you. And lastly, make sure to use the correct aspect ratio. So there have been a lot of different formats in other advertising platforms. Facebook has the one set up for them. They've got the widescreen, they have square format, there's also even vertical format. So what happens is you need to look at the back end of Facebook. If you Google Facebook aspect ratios, they'll all be there and they're all showing to you. And this will allow you to be able to have your videos shown in the right place at the right time. Remember that a majority of people that are going to see your ads are on mobile devices, which is much smaller, so you need to make sure that things are clear, and the square formats and the vertical formats take up more screen space on a mobile phone than the widescreen formats. So those are my 5 tips for being able to translate your videos onto Facebook. I hope you enjoyed them. Yeah, so that's kind of the update I got for today. We had a couple questions that came in from last week, and I want to thank the people that did ask these questions, as well as go ahead and answer them for you. Got a couple of quick ones here. John asked, how do you force a video to go viral through paid advertising on Facebook? And this is actually a good question. A lot of people I think have this, that they want to have that next viral video that has all that massive explosive growth. The first thing that I would say is, man, if you're trying to force anything to go viral, you're probably going to hit a wall, because I don't think it's really a push approach. Viral generally happens through a pull, which is people want to share the content. Now, so that would be my first aspect, and that usually happens through spending the time to create something that is shareable, that people find funny, that they find entertaining, that wows them to where they've never seen something like that before. When you do things like that, viral elements are going to happen naturally. So, John, assuming that you've already done all of those things, what would you do at the next level to be able to promote that? There's kind of 2 things that I would do, and I'd probably run them in tandem. 1 is an engagement campaign, 2 is a video view campaign, because you want to raise both of those at the exact same time, based around people that are going to find this video most entertaining, or at least relevant to them. And what happens is, as those people see it, you want both people to share it and to comment and leave a lot of engagement on it. And you're going to also want the video view count to go up. So you're going to want objectives for both of those with potentially the same ad. Sometimes we'll leverage and use a dark post to be able to link the ads together. Other times you can just create both the videos, a single video uploaded, but 2 ads going towards it. So those are your options. Also, when it comes to viral elements, you want to generally have it happen in a very fast pace. So what happens is you need to front load your budget, meaning you need to put a lot of your budget right at the beginning of the campaign, instead of trying to go 7 days or 15 days or 30 days. Like, your time frame is 24 to 72 hours. And so you need to put a lot of your budget directly towards that. And the kind of final element that you could do is what's called aggressive bidding, where instead of standard bidding, you're going in there and saying, I want to be very aggressive. It's going to cost you more. It's putting you at the top of the list in terms of Facebook. You're going to be paying the top dollar, but you're going to get all that ramp up and all that speed as quickly as possible. So that would be your last option to be able to do that. And hopefully, if you've done all your homework before, have a good video, you're going to see amazing results from that. Another question we had from Vili was, how long should you let an ad run before deciding whether or not it's a winner or a loser? This is, again, a great question. A lot of people wonder that, like, how do I know, when do I pull the plug? Now, some of the upsides with Facebook is you get the data in real time, which means you're seeing numbers come through. Some of the downsides is that you're getting the data in real time. And if you ever talk to a statistician or someone that works a lot within math or stats, they're going to tell you that you need to have a certain amount of data to give it statistical relevance. Now, what happens is, I've had a lot of people that are like, hey, I spent $10 and I turned everything off. So it was a huge failure. In my mind, I'm like, you're just starting. It's like you've taken 2 steps and you're like, I don't want to go anywhere else. Walking just isn't for me. Facebook is a big platform with a lot of different options. So, generally a couple of rule of thumbs that we're looking for is, Facebook wants you to hit a minimum of, they say, 15 to 25 conversions events per ad set. So if you're looking for clicks, if you're looking for conversions, if you're looking video views, all those things that they're looking to have those be generated to be able to find out who are the people that are watching this and to adjust their algorithm to be able to find you more people like it. So if you're not even close to hitting those numbers with your budget, or if you're spending $25 but you've got 25 ad sets with each with $1 budget, you're going to need to run it long enough to be able to go for a week of time and see, can you hit those numbers or not. If you can't hit them with conversions, move back to a clicks campaign, optimize it for landing pages, optimize it for clicks, Those are other steps that you can do where you're moving back further down the funnel or down the action event that a user has completed. And that will help you be able to, focus your budget on what's happening. But, generally, my kind of rule of thumb, and with automated rules, Facebook kind of sets a limit at 8,000 impressions. I usually kind of look around 10,000 as kind of the starting point. They at least have to get it in front of some people. And then once that happens, we can start to make adjustments based off the data we're seeing, but rarely do we necessarily cut an ad, instantly. Unless the numbers like click-through rates and conversion events are much, much lower than everyone else. Another element you want to look for is relevance score, which will help you be able to determine, how the ad is doing in terms of people on Facebook. We had a question from Josh actually about relevance score. This is our third question. And he said, how much should you worry about relevance scores? Like, are they really important? Are they not important? What's kind of the process there? Like, what does it really matter? From my, not my understanding, but my experience, relevance scores are probably the single biggest factor in terms of how good your campaigns are, going to be in terms of cost per action. Meaning, regardless of what you bid, regardless of what your budget is, if you're getting relevance scores of 10, it is going to be as cheap as possible. If you're getting relevance scores of 1s and 2, prepare to pay a whole lot. If you're getting scores of relevance scores of 5, 6, or 7, you're in the middle, but you still have room for improvement, which means you haven't really connected and been able to dial in to the audience that you're trying to reach with a message that they are interested in, or is either entertaining to them, or is educational to them, or makes them stop and be like, hey, let me check this out. So, my challenge to you is always keep trying different approaches with your creative and what you're trying to express to the people you're looking to reach to be able to get those relevance scores higher. And if you're able to do that, that is where, Facebook opens the doors of goodness to you. Click-through rates go up, costs go down, conversions go up. It's a beautiful thing, and I hope that you guys can be able to make it there. So, and it happens with high relevance scores. So anyway, thank you, Josh, for that great question. And the last question for today is from Anna. How many emails do you need approximately for a solid audience on Facebook ads? So when you're creating custom audiences, the minimum that you need is 100. To be able to upload and have, to create a custom audience. If you're trying to create lookalike audiences, you can create it off of 100, but you're gonna, it's 100 people, it's gonna be spread out, at least in the US, to around 1.2 million people. So it's a big expansion. By default, when you're creating lookalikes, the more emails that you have, the closer it's gonna get because they have more data points to be able to find better users as they go to the larger lookalikes. But ultimately, when it comes to creating a custom audience, and her big emphasis was on the word solid, like how do you find a really solid, lookalike audience? It really depends on what you're doing. Some people, they may only have 100 customers. If that's the case, that's going to be solid. There's other companies that have come to us where they're like, hey, we've got a list of 1 million customers. We're able to take those and create lookalikes off them. Obviously that's going to have way more data to be able to analyze and look and actually find the biggest factors that those people have in common. So to some extent, right, when it comes to what should you have, the answer is really like it's going to depend on the companies, and the higher that number goes, the better it's going to be. So the minimum is 100, and from there, ultimately you want to get as many as possible, and that's going to help you be able to match more people and be able to get a much cleaner and more accurate lookalike audience. So anyway, I just want to thank you guys for the questions. Those are great. Thank you guys for checking us out and watching. If you have more questions, feel free to leave them in the questions below. Otherwise, we will see you next time we go live. Thank you so much, and have a great day.